This video is going to be a whistle-stop tour of how to use column filters in AdapTable, our AG Grid extension. And we're doing this video because in the recently released version 20 of AdapTable, we introduced some new enhancements to filters. So we thought it worthwhile just to do a general update. We're going to be using the AdapTable documentation for this video. It's all publicly available at docs.adaptabletools.com, and then all the demos we're looking at are available in TypeScript, React, Angular, and Vue. So column filters is a very complex and big topic, and as I say, we're only going to look at just a couple of elements. The first thing to bear in mind is that column filtering in AdapTable works at layout level. So if we look at this demo here, we have a layout called filtered, and in it we've got a column filter for the name column, we've got the language column, and then we've also got here on this push column. And now if I change to a different layout, we can see this time we have a between filter on the GitHub stars column and a filter on the license column. So you can switch between layouts and have different sets of filters. The other thing also to bear in mind is that we also have another type of filter, a grid filter. Let me go full screen so you can see it better. And in this example here, we can see that we've got column filters again on name, language, GitHub stars, pushed. And we also have a grid filter. So I can obviously use a grid filter as either an expression or as a query builder, and the two will work together. So if I close that, I will see an extra row. There's two main filter components which AdapTable provides for filtering. We call them the filter form. That's a pop-up which allows you to do full filtering. And then there's also a filter bar that sits below the column header, and it's designed for quick filtering. So we'll look at that one now first. This is the quick filter here, and as you can see, there's lots of different predicates you can choose from. We have different ones for numbers, and obviously we have lots and lots for dates as well. And the way it works is you can choose for this one, we go on to anything which starts with R, we get that, or we can change it. So let's say anything which ends with a T. And then you can obviously do others as well. Plus you can do wildcards. So if I change this to greater than, you can see that this has changed to greater than, and then I can do whatever filter I want. So the quick filter bar allows you very, very quickly to run filters at a quick level. Additionally, we have the filter form. So let's clear that. And then the way the filter form works is you get a much more kind of powerful filter, which allows you to do a lot more. And in fact, one of the things it allows you to do, as we can see here, is have multiple predicates. So again, if we go full screen, we can see here, if we go into this one, we're doing where name either contains or ends with E and S. And then if I go into this one, it's got to be less than or that one. So obviously if I change that to and, we will get nothing. And if I was to change this to or, then in fact we get additional ones. So and you can have as many as you want. You can add as many conditions as you want for each filter. The way column filtering work is we call these predicates. So we can see here for the name column, we have these string predicates. And as we saw earlier, we have different ones for numbers and dates, etc. So AdapTable ships with a lot of predicates. But as you can see here, we also allow the users to provide their own custom predicates to add to that list. So again, let's go full screen. And this time let's add some code. And we can see here that in this example, we have added 3 custom predicates. We've added one called popular, which works on the GitHub stars column, and we can see that in action here. So let me clear it, and then let me run it, and that's popular. We've got one called scripting, which you can run on the language column, and that's this one here. And we've got one called last 10 years, which can work on any date column. And what happens is the developer provides their own implementation. So for last 10 years, it basically returns true if the date is obviously in the last 10 years. So you can add as many of these as you want, and you can see them here. But in fact, of course, once you add them, you can use them elsewhere. And in fact, you can see that here in the language column. If we look here, we can see if we go to format column that we've also got a conditional style using this where the condition is scripting. And in fact, probably if I was to clear this one now, there we are. You can see that HTML now appears because we're no longer running the filter, and that doesn't pick up the style because obviously it doesn't use the scripting predicate. So they're custom predicates, and then they can be as powerful as you want. So for instance, you can have them to include inputs. So we've added one here, which we've called long string. That takes an input. So if I say I want it to be greater than 70, I only see strings which are greater than 70. Both the quick filter, in fact we can see it here, has an in filter, you can see it here, or indeed if I go to the filter form, you can see we have an in filter. And the in filter, as you can see, is slightly different. It shows you all the values for a column. So in this example here, we can see as well as select all, we have JavaScript, TypeScript and HTML. And then the idea being it allows you to select those items that you want. And this is probably one of the most popular filters and the most configurable filter. And it's the one we've done the most work on in Adaptable 20. And there's a new function called custom in filter values, and what that allows you to do is it allows you really to customize exactly that list of values that you see in the in filter. We've got a lot of demos here, so I'll just show you kind of some of them they do. So a very common one is to have a count. So here we've been able to add a count where we can see how many times each one appears. Another very common use case is to say I don't want to see every value for that column, only the ones that are currently filtered. So if you remember before we had JavaScript, TypeScript, HTML, now we only have JavaScript and TypeScript. We also allow you to display the raw value instead. So in this example here, we've got a format column of K, but when I go into the into the drop down, I can see the raw values if I want. The default is the display value. We can also sort them. You can also, in fact, set custom labels. So in this example here, we've changed the label you see for React to say it's our default. Or in this example here, we've added lang to all the examples in the list. In this example here, we've sorted the name column, and that allows me, if I want, also to sort the distinct values. And another very common use case is to add predicates to the to the list. So in this example here, in the issue change column, we've said we want to see the positive and negative predicates as part of our list, as well as the distinct values. We've added positive and negative, and then we've also actually said any column which has a blank, such as this one here, we want to see the blanks predicate. So you can add as many of the predicates adaptable ships to that list. So if you want, you can just have that list showing both predicates and distinct values. And lastly, of course, there's nothing stopping you using custom predicates. So in this example here, in the name column, we've created two custom predicates called favorites and non-favorites. And we've also said we want them to be added to this list, as you can see here. So there is a lot more to column filters in Adaptable, but hopefully, as you can see, it's a very powerful mechanism allowing you to run filters in many different ways and many different places, as well as this filter form. It's exactly the same filter that you will see here in the filters tool panel, or indeed, if you were to be editing the layout, you can also set and create column filters there. So column filters are very intrinsic to Adaptable, and hopefully you'll agree with us that they're very powerful, very configurable, and will enhance the applications that you build using our tool. As always, thank you for watching. If you'd like to know more about column filters or anything else in Adaptable, please get in touch. We'll be delighted to provide you either with a one-to-one demo or indeed your own free trial license so you can try out Adaptable for yourself. Thank you for watching.